Darnell Wright is a name that we've known about for quite some time. He was a blue chip recruit when he first committed to Tennessee, and really ever since he showed up in Knoxville, he has been a mainstay along this offensive line. Scouts love this guy's hands, the way he can punch, the way that he's able to engage and disengage and reset. And for that reason, I've really got him compared to Miami Dolphins offensive lineman Teron Armstead. I mean, the accolades are all there as well. He was a freshman All-American as a rookie, all the way to an All-SEC player as a senior. And if you can be the best in the conference in the SEC, then you can be a major contributor in the NFL as well. So it might take a little bit, but Darnell Wright certainly has starter in the NFL written all over him.
One of the more physically impressive defensive tackle of this draft is Gervon Dexter, senior, out of the University of Florida there in Gainesville. Really tall at 6'6", 310 pounds for an interior defensive lineman, but it doesn't impact his ability to make plays and clog up that middle, where he's been really strong against the run, and he's very athletic. Ran a 4.88 40 with that size at 6'6", 310 pounds is really impressive, and I love the length which allows him to get up in those offensive linemen. The one concern I have, struggles against the run and double teams, but he won't face as many when he gets to the next level. My comp for him, Dalvin Tomlinson, who's had a nice career coming out of Bama, just signed a 4-year, $57 million contract with the Browns too, so I'm sure Gervon Dexter Sr. wouldn't mind that either. Ultimately, I think he's a solid playmaker at the next level, and you could see him having a nice, fruitful career as well.
All right, let's stay on the defensive side of the ball. Let's talk about Tyrique Stevenson, the defensive back out of Miami. He's going to come into the league right at that 205 range, 6 foot tall. Here's the thing about Stevenson. Very seldom in the middle rounds to a late round of a draft, maybe even as an undrafted free agent, very seldom in that situation can you get a guy as versatile as Stevenson. I could see him playing both corner and safety in the NFL. He's that athletic, ran a 4.45 at the combine with a 38-inch vertical. Not great on the vertical, but he does show enough explosiveness on film where you can take a shot on this guy. Made 11 starts last year, was third team all-conference, not at the top of the conference in terms of being one of the premier athletes, but it's worth a stretch. He gives you that much versatility. When I look at a comp, I would look at him and I would think about Jair Alexander in the 2018 NFL draft.
South Carolina defensive lineman Zach Pickens, a prototypical star. You look at him, the measurables are there. You look at him in a mirror, he looks at himself in a mirror, and he sees all pro. That needs to be developed. In pass rushing situations, though, he was an absolute star at South Carolina, but it wasn't always there. Run defense needs some work. He's a little stiff. Going to need to get into a little bit better strength and conditioning program in the NFL level to really follow through with all of that potential. You're looking at him, you're looking at Jonathan Hankins, a guy who sort of came out of college in a similar way. Needed a little work, physical traits were there, needed a little bit of fine-tuning. Zach Pickens can be a star if he gets that fine-tuning.
Roschon Johnson, running back out of Texas, has been in the shadows of Bijan Robinson. When you watch tape on Roschon, he's a big physical back. He has excellent movement skills for his size. He's the type of running back that is going to wear defenses down. So the more touches he gets, the more effective he is going to be. He is excellent receiver out of the backfield in the passing game. Once he builds up his speed in the open field, he can take it the distance. The other thing that was very impressive about this running back is his special teams play. He did some kickoff returns, not overly explosive as a kickoff returner, but can be an emergency guy for some NFL teams. He also runs down on kickoff and made numerous tackles, which is rare to see from an offensive player. His comparison to me was Jordan Howard. I'm anxious to see if he gets the chance to be the #1 running back on an NFL roster. I think he will excel in that position because he has low tread on his tires, and he will be a frontline running back at the next level. Tyler Scott, receiver, return specialist out of University of Cincinnati, is another very explosive slot receiver. He lined up outside for the Bearcats this year, but I think his role is going to be in the slot. This is one of the fastest, most explosive players I've seen downfield. Time in and time out, when you watch the game tape, he is blown by defensive backs. He has excellent hands as long as it's above his waist. He's a little stiff into and out of his cuts at the short and intermediate level, and when he does have drops, they're usually at his belt line or below. The other value that he's going to add to an NFL team is he has a chance to be a big-time kickoff returner. I don't think he can do punt returns, but I do see him as an explosive kickoff returner. I think this guy is going to be an explosive playmaker. His comparison, when I watched him, I'm going to go way back to Clemson and say he is Jacoby Ford. Noah Sewell, linebacker from the University of Oregon, is probably one of the most talked about linebackers in this draft. Not because of his play, but does his style fit the NFL defenses today? He is a big inline thumper that attacks downhill. He'll stand offensive linemen up at the point. He's best between the tackles, very instinctive to find the ball. I question his range and speed outside the tackle, especially when he's in pursuit. I don't think he's a great cover guy. He's better in zone. He's going to be mismatched versus running backs and tight ends. He's an excellent blitzer, though. He has timing. He knows where the quarterback is in the pocket, and he can affect a lot of throws. So the biggest question teams will be asking themselves, can a big thumper, middle, old school linebacker play in today's NFL game? My pro comparison, I'm going way back in the day, was Pepper Johnson.
Minnesota cornerback Terell Smith has great size for the position, as well as track speed to go along with it. He won the 100-meter dash in the state of Georgia as a junior in high school. Smith is a man coverage cornerback. He does not get stuck at the top of his drops and breaks quickly on the football. Overall play strength needs to improve, and he can be more physical with wide receivers using the sideline to his advantage. Smith has the speed to stay in phase up the boundary, as well as the smooth hips to transition across the field. The cornerback can improve his ability to tackle in space and is not interested in playing down in the box. Smith has the skill set to be a long-term starter in the NFL. We have compared him to former NFL cornerback Brandon Carr.
Micah Baskerville, linebacker of LSU, reminds me of Jaquiski Tart. He's an undersized off-ball linebacker whose NFL future may be as a hybrid safety type who can play close to the line of scrimmage, but also has the ability to cover running backs and tight ends too. He's a wrap-up tackler in space, plays much bigger than his size in the run game, and he also has the juice to blitz through the A-gap. But he doesn't have the size or contact balance to pull it off against interior offensive linemen when they get their hands on him. But there are certainly ways to scheme him into favorable pass rush matchups. Baskerville also has the athleticism to cover in the open field, but he will struggle at times in coverage against physical tight ends and even some bigger wide receivers. He'll be a difference maker on special teams from the moment he steps onto an NFL field, but he'll need to be in the right system to get the most out of his unique skill set. Tyson Bagent, quarterback out of Shepherd, and his comp, Will Greer. Bagent was an unranked recruit out of West Virginia, but you wouldn't know it to watch his college tape. He was a 4-year starter and the 2021 Division II Player of the Year who owns just about every school record at Shepherd. Over the last 2 seasons, he threw for over 9,500 yards with a whopping 94 touchdowns. He earned a Senior Bowl invite and showed off his athleticism and arm strength, but at times the game seemed a bit too fast for him. But NFL teams are intrigued by the measurables and the production, but with the understanding that he'll need time to transition from a lower level of competition. He'll need to improve his mechanics and his accuracy, but it's clear he has the arm strength to make every throw in the league.